Currently, I'm working on a fossil called a Phytosaur, which is this animal here. It's illustrated right there. It's one of the top predators that lived here about 220 million years ago. So this specimen was collected about 30 years ago, and at some point it was broken. So I'm just working on basically removing some of the excess rock, and then also stabilizing the cracks and gluing pieces together. And right now I have pieces of the pubis and the hip, and then there's a leg here as well. So I'm basically just fixing up the bone and then creating these cavity mounts to put them in storage for protection so we can safely handle them for research. But yeah, these would have been the top predator. The largest Phytosaurs can get up to about 18 feet long, and the largest skulls can be about 4 feet long, so they're pretty massive. They're kind of like crocodiles, kind of like dinosaurs, but they have their own separate group, and the group is extinct now, but they're important to study for understanding sort of the evolution of the crocodilian-like line of archosaurs. That's kind of what we call the group of these animals. Many different species of these. We have about 200 different species of plants and animals that have been found in the park, and a lot of the animals are kind of more newly discovered within the last couple decades. And we've been doing a lot of research, and we've actually described 3 new species in 2020 alone. So we're still pretty active in discovering new things, in addition to working on things that were collected a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Oh, do you guys have the T-Rex and the...
Yeah, so we don't.
No.
The T-Rex and some of the more famous dinosaurs that people know of, like Triceratops or T-Rex, those animals would have lived much later than these guys. So T-Rex is about 65 million years old.
Uh-huh.
These fossils are about 220 million years old.
Oh, wow.
There's quite a big time difference. We actually live closer in time to T-Rex than these guys live to T-Rex. So we do have 2 dinosaurs that I think 2 or 3 species of dinosaurs that have been found in the park.
Uh-huh.
And one of them is this guy here. It's a smaller dinosaur. It's
Yeah.
a smaller bipedal carnivore called Zelophysis.
Uh-huh.
And so dinosaurs, they do exist here, but they're a pretty small part of the assemblage we find.
Yeah.
So these dinosaurs were maybe about 50 pounds.
Yeah.
They're pretty small, but they're probably still pretty ferocious.
Yeah. Looks scary though.
Yeah. We mostly find some of the larger reptiles.
Yeah.
Over here, there's a poster that shows more of the different species that we've been finding here.
Oh, okay.
But over here as well, we have another specimen that I can talk about. So that's kind of more of the end phase of how we handle fossils we're putting in storage. We're still working on uncovering this one. This specimen was collected in 2017, and it's an animal called a Phytosaur, which is basically a giant amphibian, like a giant salamander. And what we have here is this broad, flat part here is the skull, and you can see the eye sockets there, and then the nose maybe down here. And then connected to the back of the skull is some of the vertebrae and some ribs. So when we found this specimen, we knew that there was a partially articulated partial skeleton. So we kind of dug around the whole thing, kind of made a pedestal with the rock encasing the fossil, and then we put this basically plaster cast around it, and that kind of holds everything together. And then once it dries and hardens, we kind of undercut that, flip it over, and then bring it back to the lab and start working on removing the rock in the lab. So yeah, we're still working on that, but we've got most of it exposed. These are cool because we find a lot of these fossils, but a lot of times they're just broken up into small pieces.
Yeah.
We don't usually find articulated specimens or well intact specimens like this, so that's why we collect this one, because it's so well intact.
Wow. I can still see the crocodile skin.
Oh, yeah, the pattern, yeah.
The pattern, yeah.
These fossils have this, kind of ornamentation that they're specific to the animals, but they're similar across different species.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, the function of these ornamentation, pitting is still debated. We're not really sure exactly what they're used for, but yeah, it's pretty common to see.
Yeah. Wow. Very nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.